What's going on, everyone? Well, that's all, folks. The Milwaukee Bucks have officially been eliminated from the playoffs in the first round once again. Now, look, if Milwaukee had both a healthy Dame, healthy Giannis, the series probably goes elsewhere, right? This series is probably the Milwaukee Bucks to win. But now this is 2 years in a row in which you've seen Giannis be injured in the first round and the Milwaukee Bucks get eliminated, right? The idea was that, hey, maybe Dame, he could come in, take a burden, take a load off of the Milwaukee Bucks and Giannis, and it just didn't happen, right? It was very clunky at times. It was kind of awkward. The two pieces don't really seem to have figured it out. There was a lot of you go, I go at times. Giannis was having like a historically great season, like all-time great season before injuries, and a lot of that is kind of why this team was in the position that they were in as far as the success side of it goes, where like if Giannis just had like a good but not like historically great season, like what does Milwaukee look like? I mean, we saw stretches that were just horrendous and them losing it just, they had a stretch where they lost to like 4 like tanking teams in a row or whatever, 3 tanking teams in a row. The Colt coaching cycle, which I don't know why they signed Doc Rivers. Okay, sure, they had this discrepancy with the previous coaches. They go and sign Rivers. It's like, why Doc out of all people? I've never really been a big Doc Rivers fan. I just think he's underachieved more than anything as a head coach. He doesn't really make adjustments. He doesn't really make changes. He's more known to just blow series than he is making the adjustments and being the tactician in order to win it. So Milwaukee has a lot that they need to figure out. They have a lot that they need to sign. But this is why I said I don't trust Milwaukee. I don't think Milwaukee was going to win anything. I didn't think they were going to go anywhere. Now, of course, again, it'd be very different if Giannis was there, but I still don't think that they won the championship this year. I just don't. Right? Like, the problem is they went and got Damian Lillard, but in my opinion, they traded the wrong pieces, and on top of that, they didn't build the roster well enough around these two guys and put the pieces around these two enough to make it make sense, right? Malik Beasley, don't get me wrong, I like Malik Beasley. He was very good for Milwaukee this season, but he's not the guy you start alongside Damian Lillard if you want to have a ton of success, right? Like, Dame can't really defend, and now you added a guy next to him that can't really defend either. It's like, if anything, you needed to go get a legit, like, two-way guy. Like, they should have been trying to go get a guy like a Royce O'Neal. Right? He's not this, like, super premier, high-level elite guy, but he is a guy that can knock down the 3-ball, but also be a point of attack, be a guy that could go defend. They need to find and kind of retool this roster. Or you blow it up, right? Like, I'm curious to see what Giannis is going to do in this offseason. Right? The Milwaukee Bucks aren't out of the woods yet as far as, like, them actually making progress and him potentially staying. Even when they traded for Dame, there was a lot of talk about, like, hey, this might not be enough to keep Giannis if they don't have success. How does he look at it? But we'll touch on that more here in a moment. My biggest problem is I just think they made the mistake with Chris Middleton. So you overpay for Brook Lopez, right? Because they gave him, 2 years, $48 million? Something like that, which, okay, sure. But to me, you went and signed Chris Middleton to essentially a max, and I like Middleton. Don't get me wrong. I think he is a very solid player, and I think in the right position on the right team, he makes a lot of sense. I don't think he makes a lot of sense alongside Dame and Giannis. Right? I get the idea. It's like, okay, Middleton, he's one of those guys that could go off and, kind of help take a burden off of Giannis and Dame on any given night, whatnot. But he hasn't been the guy that he was in the past. And 2, it's like you're tied up between, like, Middleton, like, what is he? Okay, let's say he's your 3rd best player, right? Like, you're paying him, 3 years, $93 million, something like that, $95 million? It's paying him basically $31 million a year to have him play. Like, you could have used that money to get multiples. I think their mistake was trading Drew Holiday. I think that they should have traded Chris Middleton and kept Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday would have made a world of sense alongside Damian Lillard. Like, genuinely. Right? If you would have worked it out to where, you swapped Chris Middleton and whatever else to go get Dame, I think that now you're talking, because Drew Holiday would have given you that point of attack guy, could have, taken pressure off of Damian Lillard to play make and handle the basketball. Like, he could have defended the best player on the other team, could have, he can play the two, he can play the point, he can do whatever, he can go score when you need him to, right? Go drop 15 to 20 on any given night if you need him to, if you ask. I think that was the better approach. I think that there's a reason Milwaukee goes and trades for him and immediately wins a championship, right? Like, you got rid of Marcus Smart and you got rid of Drew Holiday. I don't think that was the best idea and the best approach as far as, like, who you should have kept. I think, personally, they should have traded Chris Middleton, and I think this offseason they should look to trade Chris Middleton, right? If you could turn Chris Middleton into, two quality starting level player, one starting level and another bench depth player, right? If you could turn him into like a versatile wing, like, that would be great, right? Like, I don't know, like, try to find some suitor that makes sense, right? Like, can you talk to Brooklyn and go get a Dorian Finney-Smith and like Cam Johnson or something, right, for Middleton. And now they have Mikal Bridges and Middleton, and they can kind of figure stuff out, right? To where now it's like, okay, now you have a Cam Johnson, legit 3-and-D, versatile size, athletic wing that can defend multiple positions. You got Dorian Finney-Smith, your prototypical premier 3-and-D guy, right? Now he can defend, play multiple positions, right? So now you basically got, you could put and slide, Dorian Finney-Smith at the 2, Cam Johnson at the 3, got Giannis and Brook. To me, that's a much more balanced team. Again, it's just something that kind of popped in my head, something that came to mind. I don't even know if the salaries work or anything like that. It's just kind of a thought, right? You go get, the point is like, you go get 2 versatile defensive wings out on the perimeter that can kind of mask Damian Lillard, knock down the 3 ball, play off ball, hit shots, right? Like, that's what you need. You need that switchability. You need that youth, right? Like, even Dorian Finney-Smith, he's not super young, but he's not, 36, 35, right? So he's a guy that could be a point, that could provide some, point of attack and switch and defend multiple positions. Now, between, if you can get 2 defensive 3-and-D perimeter guys alongside Giannis, you'd be one of the best defensive teams in the league. You'd have more than enough offensive firepower. And now you could talk about maybe being a contender. I don't really see that from them right now, right? I think ultimately Damian Lillard, I don't think Dame's ever going to be able to be what he needs to be in Milwaukee. I think if he would have went to Miami, I think you would have saw a very different Damian Lillard this season. Like, genuine. I think you would have seen a closer to like Portland Dame than what we got. Also, another thing, Damian Lillard, he gets hurt again, right? Like, he's had a history of this the last few years, and he's only getting older, right? And so now it's like, he hasn't been as great offensively and as efficient. He's been injury prone. He can't defend. Like, it's not the best look for Milwaukee, right? But I almost feel like if you're not going to blow it up, you're kind of stuck, right? Maybe a team would be willing to take Dame, but even if you try to trade Dame, you're probably getting pennies on the dollar, right? You're not going to get what you gave. And so where I do think a team, like I said, that needs Dame to be Dame, I think would make a lot of sense. Again, a team like Miami, I think he would have a lot of success in, right? Because Miami needs him to be what Dame has always been, that just bucket getter. There's not going to be any clashing. There's not going to be any questions. There's not going to be like, down the stretch, who has the ball? It's like, no, you have the ball, right? And you also have the complementary stars and Bam and Jimmy that are more than happy to do so, right? Like, they're happy to let you have the ball and run the show. They just want to win, right? So I think the Dame situation is very interesting in Milwaukee. And then you add in again Giannis, and it's like, does he look at this as like, man, 2 years in a row, right? Like, we are hanging on without me, right? It's just like, I need a better roster. I need a better team. Or does he end up ultimately asking out? I mean, it sounded like he was on the brink last offseason. Yeah, they went and got Damian Lillard, but it hasn't been great. He's noticed it. He's expressed his frustrations at times. Right? Does he take this offseason and go, I need something better. I need something more. right? Like, this isn't, Dame's old. Like, the problem Milwaukee had is that they were an old team that needed to get younger. And instead of being an old team getting younger, they're an old team that got just as old, right? It's just like, I don't know. I think that they still need to look to inject some youth, some athleticism, right? They need to get some defensive versatility out there. I think that they need to move off of Chris Middleton. And I think that, maybe you make the moves that maybe make sense and Giannis goes, all right, fine, I'll stick around. But I also wouldn't be surprised if Giannis asks out, right? And you have teams like the Knicks, man. I mean, he could look at it and go, man, if I go to the Knicks, me and Jalen Brunson, right? Like, if I can, I mean, just him and Jalen Brunson alone would be terrifying, right? Like, and they have a ton of draft picks. Like, I don't know. It's a thought, something to kind of keep in mind, right? Does Giannis kind of go, get me out of here? But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you have concerns about Milwaukee? Do you think they should tear it down? Do you think, run it back another year would be better? Again, how do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are, love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. It's when you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.